Hello, YouTube Planeta. It's Adrian in New York. It's been a while. I definitely have had some serious lulls and didn't know like what I wanted to do to kind of like inspire myself. But recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've really had like a bit of an epiphany about makeup and skincare and my collection, and I thought I'd share because I feel like the last time I really talked about any kind of facet of like my makeup collection, it was the Eyeshadow Palette tag. And after doing that and after really thinking about like what I love, I realized that my collection still wasn't really reflecting what makes me happy. Like I just felt like there's just still too much, and I'm not a YouTuber, obviously, and I'm not really into like professional kind of makeup or anything. It's really for myself. And as I get older and I think like, what do I love? What don't I love? I spent some time really trying to fill in the gaps. So I wanted to do like an eyeshadow update because I'm really proud about where I am. And by the way, I'm like trying something new and I really like it. It's like lavender explosion with lots of frosty. Kind of reminds me of like the late 80s, and I love that, even though it was terrible for us and I don't really care. I just think it's pretty. And right now on my eyes I'm using a combination of a cheek product, actually, like a blush from Sydney Grace called Paris Skies, and a little bit of a NARS blush called, let's see, Sin, which is kind of a very popular, both kind of plummy shades. I use them in my eyes as well, and then I also loaded up on loaded the eye up with some of the colors from the So Jaded palette by Kathleen Lights. And before someone's comparing and they're like, oh my god, yours looks different than mine, that's because I got rid of the glitter shadows, which I despised, and I just replaced them with a couple of shadows that I love from the My Little Pony palette, and I kind of got rid of the rest of them. So now it's like my perfect, like colorful, fun palette. But I love this palette. Outside of those two glitters, I love it. And I think these are the two that I added from the My Little Pony palette, which are really pretty and I think kind of complement the story a bit. Maybe not this one. This one kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, but this one's really pretty. So anyway, great palette, still stand by it, still one of my favorites. I thought I'd share, I decluttered so much of my collection. I am down, I think, down to 21 palettes, and I mean, at my peak I had over 100 palettes, so I've decluttered well over 100 to date. And I think I've just really decided formula is more important to me than anything else. And if you have the right formula, you can get such a nice look. And so I think I'm going to just talk about formulas that I love. And so the first one I will talk about, since we were there already, is Colourpop. I feel like Colourpop, although not all shades are created equal, their palettes, there is something for everyone, and their price point is unbelievable. And I'm just going to share with you like a roundabout of all the palettes I have of theirs. I'm just looking around to see that I'm collecting all of them. I have some single shadows from them, which I will highlight in a moment, but they're just beautiful. They really are just beautiful. In fact, I ordered the most recent sunflower one, which should be coming. I I knew I would love it. I missed out on the Honey palette, and I've regretted it. And when I saw Makeup for Fun, I love her channel, do swatch comparisons with the Urban Decay Naked Honey, I realized the Sunflower palette can easily replace my Naked Honey. Naked Honey left the building. It was nice, but it's really bulky, and it didn't have enough mustardy tones the way that I thought it would have had. So I'm moving away from it. So I'm very excited about that. So here's some other Colourpop blush or palettes I would recommend. Blush Crush. I hesitated getting this. This took a very, very long time to get. I don't know why. I think there was something about it that made me think, it's not gonna be so interesting. I really, really don't like. This is one of the Colourpop formulas I really don't like. I just wish they would drop it. Is these little, these matte shades that have glitter in them. The glitters barely stick to your eye, even if you use a glitter glue. And they don't really add anything. It looks like it would be just a nice shimmer, but it's really not. The good thing is though, if you do see them in a palette, don't let it detract you from actually purchasing it, because the truth is, when you put it on and when you blend it away, what stays is the matte. The shimmer falls, and this palette yields like some of the prettiest looks. I don't understand it because it looks so basic, but it's so pretty, and it does have a color shock formula, which super shock formula, which people are really happy with. But you can do peach, you can do like a mauve tone. It's just really nice. And speaking of mauve tones, that's the next one I will bring up. This is the Making Mauves palette, which is very similar, but it's a lot cooler. It has more, I feel like they make a really great companion palette. It has some more neutral, cooler tones to it, and the shimmers on this are ridiculous, really ridiculous. It also has one of those shades that sort of has that glitter, but it blends away, and this is more of a neutral tone down look if you exclude those shimmers. And this is a little bit warmer, has that coral. I just think these make a lovely pair. So these two I would highly recommend, of course depending on like what you love, but very surprising how nice those were. The next Colourpop eyeshadow palette I spoke the first time. This one's much more kind of terracotta. It has this like dirty gold in it, which I love. Color shock formula of this like foiled. It's so pretty. Again, sort of the Blush Crush starts to like knock on this door of this palette. Can make a great companion. They are very different though, but as a companion palette, great. I love these palettes too. I don't feel guilty about owning more than one. They're so light, they're so slim, they survive great travel. Not that anyone's traveling, or I'm not traveling, but it's great. It's great. I highly recommend it. This one's an oldie but a goodie. You can't get your hands on it anymore. I wish they would bring it out again. It's the Night Owl palette. I love this packaging. I'm obsessed with owls. I love owls. I love owls. And so I remember walking into Ulta. I had no intention of shopping for myself that day. It was like Christmas and I was doing holiday shopping for others, and I actually ran in to get sunscreen, and I passed the display and I stuck my hand in it immediately, and it was just love at first sight. It's so pretty. It has these like neutral colors in it. It has these incredible foiled shades and these like warmer, slightly warm neutral tones. It is a brown palette. I'm not going to pretend it's anything else, But the next palette I'll show you, which is the Going Coconuts, is much cooler. And if we kind of do this together, again, sort of great companion palettes. These colors are a bit similar, but there's a lot of still like differences to a lot of this. I feel like these just remind me of their older palettes. Like if you combine these two or you combine the other two, reminds me of their older palettes that really kind of put a lot of Colourpop on the map, like their Double Entendre palette or some of the other ones. I can't think of them right now. But those are some of my Colourpop. I also picked up the Sailor Moon palette, which actually this purple is really nice. And I feel, I can top it. I mean, like, do we ever stop playing with makeup, ever? No. Why? We shouldn't. I mean, it's silly. It's silly to stop playing with makeup. If you like it, just do it. So this is a great palette. Again, much more neutral. Like, you know, ignore these 4 colors and you have sort of like the California Love palette. Some of that is there. But these 4, this is just a vibrant coral. This also is like a strawberry color, which is so, the strawberry coral. It's really nice. It's just much more wearable than I thought it was going to be. Again, I saw it in person. It was sold out everywhere. One day I ran into Ulta to return something. So that's what I've been doing now. Like I do a lot of my online shopping, and when I go visit my sister, I have her drive me to Ulta and I return anything I didn't like. And I saw this and I had to get it, and I justified it because I got a second one for my goddaughter who really loves Sailor Moon. And so I was like, uh-oh, I gotta get it for her, and since there's one last other one, it's mine. So I would have never gotten this. I'm not into the anime series or anything. So the last palette I'll share is a kind of a build your own palette of singles, and again, Makeup Just for Fun sort of inspired me to do this, but this is using her suggestions of colors that would make up the ABH Mario palette. So I went through the trouble of depotting and finding shades I was missing. A couple of these shades are not Colourpop because I couldn't find the Colourpop shades that were suggested. I think one of these or 2 of these are Sydney Grace shadows. I used Tim Talia's website to kind of find comps for each that was missing, and I do think another one of these is an ABH shadow that I found. So I think 3 of these, maybe it's these 3 or these 3, I don't remember, but this is great. I had always wanted the Mario palette. I didn't get it. I didn't want to go to like a secondary buying source. It's just been too long. The shadows probably won't perform. So I love, love, love when Makeup Just for Fun does the comps. It makes you feel so much better about like what you have and what you can appreciate. And so a lot of those shadows I had from other palettes, so I depotted them, and I just had to buy a few to make up for it, but I'm really happy I have it. And so I've been searching YouTube for like old tutorials, so that's always a lot of fun. So that's my Colourpop collection. I can't say enough about it. I really love it. The next formula I have to say is Stellar, and I decided to really only keep palettes that felt unique to me. Is the Anastasia formula. I really love it, so yes. Norvina is one of those palettes that I decided to keep. It's beautiful. It has, you know, some cooler, fun pops of color, but it also has a lot of the base colors of, and I find that she does this a lot with a lot of palettes, but it has a lot of the same base colors as Modern Renaissance or Soft Glam or Sultry, and so I didn't feel like I needed those. So I chose to keep the palettes that I felt had more unique shades in them when I looked at my collection. So I hope that makes sense. So I did declutter Soft Glam. It's this beautiful palette, but I just have other formulas that I prefer more in those shades. I also decluttered Subculture, which beautiful, controversial, still the palette, the color scheme is gorgeous. I just feel like I have that color scheme now in formulas that are a little less temperamental, a little less soft, easier to blend. And the Riviera palette, I just feel like I have with my So Jaded palette a lot of those colors. I have some colors in the palettes I'll show you from ABH and in some other formulas. And in my singles, I want to get use of my singles, and you're going to see why. The next palette is the Carly Bible palette. I know this one has been on sale like crazy. I think people maybe don't know what to do with it by looking at it, but I have to tell you, one of the most beautiful, beautiful palettes. And I bought it right when it came out because I just sensed was gonna be really, really good. That, and I don't watch Carly Bible, but she named one of her eyeshadows the OA, and that is one of the best shows that has ever been created, and that just made me want the shade OA. And it's such a pretty, has some really pretty topper colors. This color all over the lid is stunning. Again, some really great neutrals, that between the neutrals in this palette, the neutrals in Norvina, the neutrals in the Jackie Aina palette, which again is a palette I love, 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 love. I feel like I got the Soft Glam. I got the Sultry. I got the, and if there's a metallic shade that's off, I'm gonna show you why it doesn't matter in my collection. But this is so beautiful, really rich. I probably just need to, I use like a bronzer. When I use this palette, I use the bronze, whatever I'm using as bronzer. I use it as my transition shade, and I can really have a lot of fun. So I love that. So I just want to share that. So that's Colourpop, ABH. I feel like you really get to know people when you go through their collection. So that's why I'm bothering doing this. Because the last video on like the eye palette tag, it's just like a sneak peek. One other ABH hinted eye, which I waited so long to buy this, and I think I got it for $10.50, is the little Norvina palette. This one, this color story is crazy. I mean, it's so good. I saw this and I mean, it took me like a year, over a year. Is it a year? It felt like forever, but it is so, 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 so beautiful. It's really beautiful. I'm not attracted to the other, there's like a couple of shades in each of the other two that I like, the other mini ones. I also just love the packaging, it's very retro. But this one just really is special, and again, very, very colorful, and I feel like with this and with the So Jaded and some of the other palettes, I'm good with color. I'm good with color for now. Moving on, I will share one of my next favorite formulas, which is Lorac. I only have this one palette, but it's like the original. It's so, so pretty, so easy to blend. This is, if anyone is starting out in makeup and just wants one palette, this palette is the palette. It's so slim. You have so much variety. I mean, the tones, the shimmers, all the mattes, you can do so much with it. And I can see why it's still around, why people love it. I just got mine maybe 6 months ago. I was shocked when I put this on my eyes. It was so pretty, so soft. When I want to put something on my eyes and go fast and not think too hard or not worry about the blend, I go to that palette because I'm not gonna look like a clown. And sometimes, you know, you can look like a clown when you put on makeup, so, you know. Other palettes that I love, been really enjoying mini palettes, so some of my favorites are the Natasha Denona mini palettes. These are the three I have. I chose these over some of the others because I like the color schemes. This one is really vibrant and beautiful, and it's the exact shades that are in the larger Tropic palettes, the bottom row of the Tropic palette in a smaller pan size, which I think is just perfect. Some of these perform better than others, but for the price, it was awesome. I think I got it for $12.50. This one, which is the Natasha Denona Gold Mini Palette, I think. It's so nice. It has these like greens and this gold and this neutral color. It's very pretty. I really love it. It's lovely. It's lovely. One day I might own a big Natasha Denona palette, but for now I just can't. I can't justify it. And then this one's really nice too. This has also like a greeny gold and this peach color and these different toppers, and just so creamy. The formulas are so, oh sorry, I was swatching things earlier. They're so nice. Just really nice. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason Natasha Denona is, you know, not panhandling, that's for sure. Some of my other palettes, I talked about these, but Charlotte Tilbury quads, I mean, I feel so sorry for myself, but no. These are really beautiful. This is the Pillow Talk palette. I talked about how pretty this was, how comparable it was to the M Cosmetics palette that I got rid of already. It's really nice. It's basic. It's a good day look. Has a nice topper shimmer. Again, if you're just looking for that, and this is the, what is this called? The Rebel palette, and this is the older version of it, which I much prefer to the tones in the newer version. The newer version is too closely resembles sort of the Natasha Denona Gold. I think this is more true to like a green palette, much more exciting, the shades for me. Requires building up, but I really love it. It was a Christmas present from my mom last year, and I really love it still. The only other palettes I'll discuss before I move on to sort of my singles collection are, well, first the Tati Beauty palette. Now this palette is so heavy, but it's also very slim, has a beautiful mirror. I mean, like a crazy good mirror. I still have the plastic because I'm afraid those glitters are gonna come flying everywhere. And it's gorgeous. And I feel like so many people talked about this palette. I got it on day one. I just knew there's no way that lady's gonna come out with crap, because, you know, she knows makeup. And I really felt like she was gonna do a good job, and I was right, and she did, and I like it, and I need to, ooh, lights. I was using my makeup mirror light. There we go. I need to use it more, so I actually keep this out now, so it encourages me to use it, because it's really pretty. I took this on a cruise, and I did lots of sparkly shades, and it made me happy. And it's a great formula, really easy to blend, very happy with it, has a good variety of colors. Also great for somebody who wants to start off and wants to have a lot of options. I feel like not just that, but you have a lot of content out there by amazing makeup artists on YouTube and Instagram who've used the palette just like the Lorac palette and can inspire you to do a lot of looks with it. So highly encourage getting that one. I left the best for last. So my favorite kind of palettes that are already made, you're gonna see they're my favorite single eyeshadows too, are by Sydney Grace. And so this is the Enduring Love palette. And I don't know if you can see how magnificent this is, but if you happen to have, I don't know, 50 bucks lying around, you will love this. I am certain of it. More certain than I've been certain of lots of things. This is by far the best formula in my entire collection. Sydney Grace's formula is incredible. Her shimmers are ridiculous. They're just so ridiculous. You cannot find anything even remotely like it unless you go to, I think, like another indie brand. But I barely pressed down, look how similar those shades are. So this is the Natasha Denona shade, and the difference in like the creaminess of this versus this is significant. I'm just saying. You don't always have to go to what Sephora tells you to do or buy or Ulta. Sometimes it is absolutely worth going the indie route. Sydney Grace, also their customer service, how nice they are. She recently had a sale and I got confused, and you know, I got a different promotion than I thought what I was getting, and she offered to extend to me the promotion I thought I was gonna get, but then I ended up keeping what I got because I really loved it. It's just the kind of people I like. Let me just say this. I think this comes from the fact that my dad owns a small business, and he cares so much about his customers. He loves his clients. He loves them. I can hear it in his voice. His entire voice changes when he talks to clients, and I can't help but want to support people, especially if it's in something like makeup, which is fun and it's supposed to be inspiring and really kind of bring you more to life. I can't help but want to support businesses that bring that forward, where I feel like a real connection with them. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents, and I feel like Sydney Grace is one of those companies, and I can't recommend it enough. The other palette by her is the one I just got, Tiny Marvels with Mel Thompson, one of my favorite YouTubers to do eye looks. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She's really inspirational, and so I was happy to support her. Fastest purchase I ever made too, but also I got more of that same great quality of Sydney Grace. And these shadows, I mean, I think when I saw them with the reveal, they seemed so much more vibrant. Like I was worried they weren't going to be as wearable. They are so wearable. You can do some of the coolest looks. So I've been following Mel's tutorials, and like yesterday she used this one as a liner, and it looks so cool. This is like a red green flip duochrome, and it just looks so neat. And I did my eyes and they looked amazing, and I was really happy. It's just very easy tutorials to follow too, but I love that she's been coming out with so many. I feel like sometimes you invest in a palette and there's all this like hype about it, but then whoever name is behind it sort of stops putting content about how to use it. And I feel like the two that are, well, Emily Noel, when she came out with her palette with Makeup Revolution, I feel like she's done a great job, like in a timely way, kind of putting out looks out there to really inspire people. So that's a lot of fun. And I feel like Mel has also done that, which has been very exciting. So those are my Sydney Grace palettes. The only other palettes I'll mention are kind of topper palettes. For however you feel about Kat Von D or KVD Beauty, this is the, what is this called? The Alchemist Holographic Palette. This is beautiful. Again, for however you feel about her, the brand. I gotta say, and these are really like transforming shades, so if you put this over white or black, you get a lot of beautiful effects, but these are just topper shades, great inner corner highlights. But I just have to say, I wish that as a society we could apply the same level of kind of like how we judge others or mistakes that they made the same way. And I feel like Kat Von D wasn't given that same opportunity, which is sort of shocking to me considering how many people we let off the hook for doing so much more than kind of voicing their opinion on whether or not she was going to vaccinate her child. And when she said it, she was like hormonal, and she's apologized in so many ways. And she did vaccinate her child once she learned more about it. But I don't know. I just that didn't sit well with me, and I wonder why. I wonder why she got the backlash that she did. Is it because she seems like she's somebody who can, oops, my makeup fell. She could take the criticism, or she could take the beating because she has all these tattoos and she's goth, and I don't know. It just never sat well with me, and I'm always a big proponent of, you know, Latinas doing something different, and I felt such a kinship to the work she was doing because I felt it was different, and I was always really excited. And one day I wanted her to do a tattoo for me, but I don't know. Penny for your thoughts. The next is the Flower Beauty Jungle. What is this? Jungle Lights. Get this. This is these are the craziest topper shades. Again, I think these, look at, like, they're so foiled and crazy. They're blinding. I mean, I don't understand. They should just be making these shades for a living, because it's just insane how beautiful they are. They're a little, you have to be a little gentle. Mine came a bit shattered. The least impressive is this dark purple color, but all others are gorgeous. Maybe the least impressive is the purple because it's the one that shattered and I had to repress. They're very soft, so it's not a good travel palette, I would say. In general, I used to have another Flower Beauty palette, and it also, the colors are so soft, and it also shattered. So definitely softer formula, not the best to travel with. Still really, really, really nice formula, really affordable. So yeah, I would recommend them, definitely. And the last palette that I have is a palette that is also a palette that's sort of like a topper palette, and this is the Rowan palette. This is the 52 degrees. I didn't want to like this, but I really, really like it. It's very expensive. Sort of a formula similar to like a Color Shock, a little stiffer. You really warm it up with your finger, And what you get are these like really pretty, just slightly translucent topper shades. They're really, really elegant. You buff them in. It gives you that like wet eye look. Very, very high-end looking. But I just think it's a very well thought out product, and happy to support it over like a Chanel or Dior or something like that. So those were all my palettes. That's the real kind of, this is what is in my collection. Last, I'll give you a quick tour. I'm not gonna do shade by shade. If you're interested in knowing what all the shades are and doing swatches and everything, I'm more than happy to, just let me know. But I will share with you, these are my favorite singles. So first I have my Burberry palette. These are Burberry single shadows. Burberry is no longer doing makeup, but these shadows are beautiful. This is their, what is it called? Eye Color Wet and Dry Silk Shadow. They really do feel like silk. I have these three, and I also have them in their containers. I have 3 other shades. Really, really beautiful. If you see them somewhere, I think someone mentioned that they might be in for sale somewhere, like a discount store somewhere. If you do see them, I highly recommend picking up a shade. I would pick up a mid-tone shade. It's a great one and done eye look. Who turned me on to this? Someone. Oh, Alyssa Davidson. Oh no, Alana Davidson, I'm sorry. One of my favorite Canadian YouTubers. She turned me on to the color Rosewood, which is this one. It doesn't look like much. It looks like a dusty grayed mauve, but all over the shade, all over the lid, it's really, really beautiful. I got that one for Christmas from my in-laws, and I loved it so much that then I went crazy and tried to locate as many colors as possible. And I did have to purchase off secondary, like eBay on some, but they were all legit. They were all from, you know, makeup counters, I think, that no longer were using their, or had extra samples for their display. So anyway, sometimes you can be a wise shopper on eBay. Just if something is way too cheap or is coming from a country that it wasn't manufactured in or something, I would just pause. So then these are my single shadows, and this is a combination of some Colourpop, not a lot of Sydney Grace, a lot, and Divina shadows. And so here's just a quick, these are like my purples and blues and kind of greeny teal colors. So pretty. So part of my decluttering, like this is why I decluttered the Riviera palette. I mean, like I have so many pretty colorful shades here. I don't need it. I mean, this is crazy. This is like, this is insane. These are insane, insane colors. I mean, they're so insane. Yeah. So I don't want it to be about more shadows. I want it to be about just smarter shadows. Another colorful palette. I have 4 palettes that are my single shadows. So here's my other shadows. This actually came from a flower palette. Depotted. Those are really just, these are all my greens and some yellows and orangey tones. That makes me so happy. I love it. I love it. I love it. then my more like warmish neutral shades. And here, actually, this, if you follow this line from here all the way to here, this is a build your own palette of the Naked Petite Heat, which I decluttered because I just realized I had the exact same shade. So I lined them up so I knew that they are exact dupes for the Naked Petite Heat. Similarly, a Tarte face palette that I had, these shadows really are just as nice and kind of are that palette too. Or maybe it's actually this one down here. I think it's this one down here. So that's why they're kind of lined up the way they are. But those are really beautiful. And the last one is more of a cool toned slash glimmery. And these are kind of like grays. Just really, really cool shadows, cool tone shadows with some inner corners or some toppers. And that was it. That was a tour of my eyeshadows. So I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a little bit about me through my shadows. And yeah, we'll talk soon. I decluttered also my my blushes and my bronzers and some face palettes that I had, as well as my my base products and stuff. And so I'll be happy to go through that too. So yeah, I'm sorry for the very long video. I'm not into editing yet, so this is me. This is how you get me for now. Maybe one day I'll figure that stuff out. Okay. Hope all is well. Take care. Bye.